Okay, so now we move on to activity number 3 of the SAM practical paper, and in activity number 3 we'll be attempting presentation software. Okay, so over here we have the question paper, and over here it says Jayesh wants a slide master for the presentation. Open a new word processing document, enter task A5, your name, candidate number and center number in the footer, and save the document as task A5. Okay, so let me come to my SAM folder, and let's right click, new Word document, and it's supposed to be saved as task A5. And once we open it, let's immediately head down to the footer. Yes, to the footer, and let's double click and let's type task A5, name, candidate number and center number. Okay, then the question goes on to say task A5A, create the slide master for the presentation. Okay, the master slide, so now they are specifically talking about the master slide must have the following. It should use the house style described on page number 3. So if you go onto the top, you can find it's not page number 3 in this particular document, it's page number 1, because the first 2 pages are not there. So the house style, you can see the house style for documents is a sans serif font, so we need to maintain a sans serif font on the master slide. And the company documents have the logo in the bottom left hand corner, so we have got to keep the logo in the bottom left hand corner, something that you need to keep in mind when you start designing the master slide. Then it goes on to say use dark blue text on a pale yellow background. It should include the logo. So once you include the logo, remember you need to follow the house style, so the logo will be on the bottom left hand side. Okay, as mentioned over here, bottom left hand corner. And then it says include placeholders for a slide title, text and an image. It should include a footer with your candidate details. Okay, so let's go ahead and create our presentation. So display the master slide, take a screenshot, and you can see the presentation is going to be saved as master. So let us create it in our folder itself. Let's right click over here and say new, and we want a PowerPoint presentation, and the name of this file is going to be master. So let's open this up. Okay, so we have Microsoft PowerPoint opened on our screen. Let's click here to get our first slide. Okay, now let's immediately go and start editing the master slide. Okay, so how do we go there? We need to come to the view tab, and in the view tab right now we are in normal view. We need to change to slide master view. Okay, now once you come into slide master view, you can see these are the layouts that are available for you to use. Okay, these are the different layouts. Okay, these are the different layouts that PowerPoint is offering you. Okay, and if you scroll right to the top, okay, you can see there is one slide that is slightly jutting out. This is what we call the master slide. Okay, and whatever changes you make to the master slide will automatically apply to all your layouts. Okay, whatever, say for example you put the logo here, automatically the logo will apply to all layouts. Okay, you change the font here, automatically all layouts the font will change accordingly. Okay, so if there is a certain feature that you want applied to all your slides, it would be best for you to do it in master slide itself. Okay, so the first change that they wanted us to do was use the house style. Okay, so let's open this up again. The house style is always a sans serif font. Okay, so let's change this, the title, to a sans serif font. So when we say sans serif font, we are referring to a font that does not have pointy edges. That is what sans serif means. Okay, it does not have pointy edges. So you can either look for a font that does not have, now for example this font does not have pointy edges, so you can go ahead with this. But sometimes you're not sure, is this pointy, is this not pointy, you might be confused. Okay, you might not be sure, so then in that case you can simply go with Microsoft sans serif. So this is definitely a sans serif font. Okay, Microsoft sans serif, and do not forget to make this also Microsoft sans serif. Okay, there you go, you have made those changes. The next thing in the house style was the logo needs to be in the bottom left hand corner. So my logo is over here, SREH logo. I'm going to press Ctrl C, which is to copy. I'm going to come over here, Ctrl V. The logo is obviously way too big. Let's make it smaller from the corners, and bring it to the bottom left hand corner. Somewhere over here would be ideal. Okay, so as you can see, like I told you, whatever you do to your master slide will automatically apply to all the layouts. So now you can see all the layouts, the font has become a sans serif font, and you can also see the logo has automatically appeared. The reason it has appeared is because we put it in the master slide. Okay, the next thing that we need to do is use dark blue text on a pale yellow background. Okay, so the background should be pale yellow. So let's right click and let's say we want to format the background. Now something very important here is where you right click. See, if you right click inside the shape, you will get format shape, you will not be getting format background. So you need to click on, you need to right click on a blank space on the slide, which is somewhere over here. As you can see where my cursor is, somewhere over here is ideal to right click. Okay, this is a blank space. Okay, so right click over here and then say format background, which means you are referring to the background of the slide, and then you can click on solid fill and you can go for pale yellow. So pale yellow would be something like this. Okay, so you can see when you apply to the master slide, naturally, obviously it applies to the other layouts as well. Okay, moving on. Blue text, the text needs to be blue in color, so let's do that. Let's select the title, let's come to the home tab and let's change this to blue, and let's change this to blue as well. Okay, so that is also done. The next thing it says is include placeholders for a slide title, text and an image. Okay, so we have space for a slide title. You can see the slide title, there is space. There is space for text as well. There is enough space for text over here. We also need a placeholder for image, for an image. Okay, so when you come to the slide master, what you can do is, you can see right now the slide what do you call, the placeholder option is not available for master slide. So instead what you can do is you can just make this a bit smaller. Okay, so this area will be for text while this area will be for inserting of images. Okay, then it says include a footer with your candidate details. Okay, so over here at the bottom you can see this is where the footer will appear. Now directly typing over here is not enough. You also need to come to insert, header and footer, and make sure that the footer is enabled by ticking this box. Okay, so I'll do it here itself. I'll tick the footer, and what am I supposed to type in the footer? I'm supposed to type my candidate details. Okay, so I'll just put my name, my candidate number, my candidate number, and my center number. Okay, it's very important that you enable the footer. So directly typing it over here will not do the job. You also need to come to insert, header and footer, and make sure this is enabled, the footer has been enabled. Okay, then you can go ahead and say apply to all. Then it says display the master slide on the screen, take a screenshot of the master slide. So so the master slide is on my screen. I'm going to take a screenshot, so I'm going to be using the snipping tool, or you can even use the print screen button. It's entirely up to you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot from here to here, and I'm supposed to be I have to paste this, save the presentation as master. Okay, let's resave it, save, and then it says paste a screenshot of slide master into the document task A5. So let's come to task A5, the Word document, and let's paste it. Control V to paste it. Okay, and then the question paper goes on to say resave task A5, do not print at this stage. Okay, let's resave it, and we are not supposed to be printing at this stage. The next thing it says is answer this question on document task A5. Explain why organizations use house styles for digital products. Okay, so when you speak about house styles, it is a kind of a layout, a kind of format that you need to maintain for all company documents. So they're asking, why do organizations use a house style? It's very simple. The reason, let's zoom in over here and let's make the font bigger. So the reason organizations use a house style is to maintain consistency in all their documents. Okay, so they want in all their documents the logo to be appearing in one spot. They want the font to be one type of font. Okay, when you look at company documents, you do not want each document having a different appearance, isn't it? Okay, you want in all documents the font, the company name should appear with the same font, its same color. The logo should always appear in the same position, isn't it? If each document is having a different layout, it will not maintain consistency. It will not give a professional look to the company as well. Also, there's a second thing, which is to maintain the brand's identity. each organization or each brand has certain colors that represent them. Okay, so when you stick to those colors in all the company's documents, you automatically maintain what we call a brand identity. Okay, where when you look at those colors, you automatically associate it with a particular company. Think of Coca-Cola, for example. Okay, red and white is what Coca-Cola always represents themselves with. Okay, they mostly use red and white in all their packaging, in their documents, in their advertisements. Okay, red and white are the colors that they always use. Okay, so let's go over here and let's say what was the question. Let's word it according to the question. Why organizations use house styles? You can say organizations use house styles in order to maintain consistency across all their documents and also to maintain a brand identity. Okay, so I hope you have got what I just said. Okay, these are some of the main reasons that organizations, companies use a house style, where they stick to a particular layout, stick to a set of colors, stick to a set of fonts. Okay, so that you can always recognize them. Okay, then the question paper, I think that's the end. Yes. Okay, oh no, there's some more to go here. So it says task A6. 1 minute before we come here, let's resave task A5, and we are supposed to print task A5 on one A4 paper. So save, and then you can press Control P for print preview, and just ensure it's fitting one A4 paper. Yes, it's fitting one A4 paper. You can go ahead and print it. Okay, then the question paper goes on to say, Jayesh wants the presentation for the management board meeting. The presentation must use the slide master produced in task A5A, have a title slide and 5 other slides. Okay, it should be fit for purpose. Okay, so shall we move on to the next part, which says task A6A. So over here the instructions are being given. Okay, and here details are being provided. So create the first 5 slides, the title slide and 4 other slides for the presentation using the slide master you produced in task A5A. So task A5A, there is an issue where we did not save this as task A5A, right? Okay, so they are referring to task A5 because there was no task A5A over here. Okay, no probs. Okay, no problems. Let's go ahead. Okay, so now we are supposed to create 5 slides. The first slide is going to be a title slide, and the remaining 4 are going to be information slides. Okay, so now we are done with the layout, we are done with the format. So now we can go back into normal view, where we can start inserting content into the presentation. Okay, so let's come to the view tab, and let's go back into normal view. Okay, so now we are in normal view, and you can see we already have our title slide. This is something that automatically came for us at the beginning. When I opened up PowerPoint, I clicked to add first slide, and automatically the title slide came for me. So since I have the title slide, I now need to add another 4 slides. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on new slide, and from over here I'm going to go with this particular layout. Okay, where I have the title, I have space for information, I will also have space for an image. Okay, so I'm going to go with this. So I have 1. Now if I press Control M, the same layout will appear again. So Control M, Control M, Control M. Okay, so now I have 5 slides here. 1 is for the title and the remaining 4 is for the content. Okay, then the question paper goes on to say, so the slide master part we have done. Text selected from the file finance. Okay, so you need to have a file called finance, and you need to take text from it for your slides. So let's open up finance. Yes, so over here we have the text that we require for our presentation. It has been properly presented to us, so you can see this is going to be the title slide, second slide, third slide, fourth slide, fifth slide. Perfect. Information has been given to us properly. And next is appropriate images from the images folder. So when you come over here, you have an images folder. So from over here, you have to select appropriate images for each slide. Okay, so let's get started with the title then. Okay, let's just go through the paper once more. Is there anything else? No, that's it. So before we save the presentation, let's go ahead and insert the content. So we have, this is the main title, Control C. Let's come to our presentation, title slide, Control V. Let's make it, now there is an unnecessary space over here, let's press delete, and let's make this look like a title. Control B, Control Shift greater than. Okay, I'm using shortcut key, so you can click over here even. Okay, you can see that's a shortcut key that I was using. Okay, so now this looks like a title, and then let's get the subtitle as well, presented by Jayesh Sharma. Control C, Control V. Let's make this slightly bigger. Okay, that looks fine. Okay, then our next slide, we have the heading hotel restaurants. Copy, and let's paste it over here. Okay, there's some unnecessary space, so backspace. Oops, sorry, Control Z, Shift Home. Let's make it bold, let's make it slightly bigger. So we'll stick to size 40 for the title. Okay, and then we have this text that needs to be copied. Let's copy it from here, Control C. Let's come over here, Control V. Okay, now you can just keep it like this, but I would recommend try to break it down into points, into bullet points. Okay, so after every full stop, let's press enter and break it down into bullet points. That would make it look much more presentable for a presentation. This is also a separate point. This is also a separate point. Okay, so this looks better. Now we do not forget, we need to insert an image as well. So let's come, we're talking about the restaurants. Okay, so let's see if we can find an image that is I think this would do it. Let's Control C, and let's come over here, Control V, and this is obviously way too big. Let's make it slightly smaller, and let's place it over here. Perfect. The next slide that we have is over here. The next slide is fitness facilities. Control C, Control V, backspace, make this bold, make this size 40. Let's copy and paste the information from over here, and let's break it into points. Okay, so yeah, I think that's it. We're talking about fitness facilities, so I think this would be an ideal picture for fitness facilities. Control C, come to our presentation, Control V. It's taking time to paste. Image is obviously way too big, make it smaller. Okay, this looks fine, and bring it somewhere over here. Okay, that's fine as well. Next, what do we have? Next we have the bar. So Control C, Alt Tab, Control V, backspace, select it, Control B, make it size 40. Let's copy and paste the information, Control C, Alt Tab. So to shift between programs, to shift between Word and PowerPoint, I'm using the shortcut key Alt Tab. Okay, Control V, and then bring this down. So I'm pressing enter here to take it to the next line. Enter, enter. So I'm separating them into separate lines. I'm separating them into lines, and I also need to put an image of the bar. So this would obviously be ideal. Control C, and let's come over here, Control V, and let's make it smaller and bring it somewhere over here. Okay, and then finally in our last slide, so Alt Tab, new hotel, Control C, Control V, backspace, Control B, make this size 40, copy and paste this, Control C, and Control V, enter, enter, enter. Okay, so I have broken them down into points, and let's also get a suitable picture. I think this would be ideal. Control C, Control V. This is a bit too big, so while holding the shift key from the corners, make it smaller, and you can go ahead and paste it over here. Okay, so I have done that. I have put the content, I have put the images, I have put the title as well. So my 5 slides are complete. What's next? Save the presentation as task A6. Save the presentation as task A6. So you know the shortcut key for save as is F12, so you can go ahead and press F12 and save it as task A6. Task A6. Okay, please make sure you're in the correct folder and go ahead and click on save. Okay, so you're done with that. And then the question paper has task A6B. Okay, do not print at this stage. Okay, so task A6B we will continue in the next video. It's a very short part, and I think with that we'll be coming to the end of the presentation. No, there's some more. There's task A7 as well. Okay, so see you in the next video.